Arataki numero 1 Itto is finally getting a rerun, with none other than a new Geo unit that works great with him, and, of course, Gorou. And to top that, we even have a new banner that might be your chance to snatch Albedo. In this video, we will explore 7 advanced tips for every Itto main, and talk about his combos, which character to choose between Albedo and Chiori, some niche mechanic to keep in mind, and all his team options. Itto is notoriously played in triple or mono Geo teams, thanks to the very strong support of Gorou, but there can be a problem when playing them together. Itto's burst increases his attack based on his defense the moment it's cast. This is an example of snapshotting ability. However, Gorou's buffs are given to the on-field characters with various timings that at first sight seem instant, but in reality they are not. You can see the two examples on screen. On the left, I just swap and burst, while on the right, I wait to use it. And the difference is huge because I'm either missing or getting Gorou's defense buffs for the entirety of Itto's burst. Or to be more precise, the defense to attack conversion of his talent. This is dependent on ping, but might happen on low ones as well. For this reason, it's generally advised to not burst with Itto using the Alt plus number on PC or the burst button on mobile. Manually switching or waiting a tiny bit is better. And in the next sections, talking about combos, there will be one that allows you to make sure that Gorou's buffs happen 100% of the time. Itto's most important aspect during his on-field window is managing his superlative super strength stacks. Up to 5 stacks showing on his back, they will be consumed to perform his special charge attacks. Itto's gameplay revolves around farming stacks and using them. Let's keep in mind a few key factors before exploring his combos. Obtaining the stacks can be done in multiple ways. Outside of his burst, the second normal attack gives him a stack, while his fourth gives him 2. During the burst, also his first and third normal give him a stack each. Ushi doing damage, taking damage and expiring grants 1 stack each as well. Lastly, his combos are not interrupted by dashing or casting Ushi. Our first combo completely fixes any problem with snapshotting buffs and basically cheats his stack. By using his first normal and cancelling it with the burst, Itto will gain a stack as if the burst was in place. It also resets his normal attack string, which means that doing another normal starts with the first one again. The timing might seem precise, but it's actually easier than it looks. By doing this, we get a stack from an attack that is not supposed to give you 1 since it still does physical damage, but the burst cancel makes it so that it does. Let's now showcase a combo example that will be easy to remember and also very consistent. You start with the N1 plus burst trick, then 1 normal, cast Ushi, and then since his combo do not get reset right away here, continue the normal attack string to his third attack, and then start using your charge attacks. Once done, 3 more normals into charge attacks. Ushi being hit can allow 1 more. And finally, another Ushi cast. If you did your combo fast enough, a new charge attack finisher can be included at the end. To make it simple, we're basically always doing 3 normals between charge attack spam, while inserting Ushi at the most appropriate time. To be fair, however, this is just one of the many combos that he can perform, and a big degree of improvisation can be there because of the RNG connected to Ushi being hit or not, which will give you an extra stack. Your combo can also change if, for any other reason, you start already with 1 or more stacks. A great resource for checking this in much detail is the KQM Itto guide or the Itto main Discord. One last tech we can look at is how his charge attack finisher can be cancelled by a dash and start your next action right after. As you can see on the right, I am at the second normal by the time I do the first one on the left where I don't dash. It's generally not required, but it will make combos much easier to perform, especially when trying to fit one last charge attack finisher at the end. Let's now discuss Chiori in Itto teams and also compare her to Albedo. To explain her briefly, she is a split scaling attack and defense character with the ability to summon a doll that does off-field damage. Very similar to Albedo. However, when a Geo construct is nearby, a second doll is summoned, greatly increasing her damage. I will be honest and say, looking at numbers and considering everything, Chiori is simply a better Albedo when 2 dolls are present. which is always the case because Ushi is a Geo construct. Not only that, he is the best Geo construct for Chiori. The reason being is that Ushi is not fixed in place like every other construct, and even if you cast it on a big enemy, it will always get summoned. For other Geo constructs instead, it can happen that they don't get summoned at all because of them clipping into an enemy. Here is a trick that I showed on my Ningguang tips video to deal with that problem. Hug the enemy, turn around and then cast. Very often, you will be able to get the cast damage plus the construct to actually stay there. And by the way, you do not have to cast a Geo construct strictly before Chiori to get 2 dolls. There is an important distinction to make between Albedo and Chiori for Itto. Albedo's skill is able to snapshot his stats, meaning that if Gorou buffs his defense, Albedo is going to use that buff for its entire skill duration. Chiori, on the other hand, does not. Buffing her defense or geo damage with Gorou's skill will only work when she's on field, which we are obviously not doing in an Itto team. She's however still getting Gorou's Ascension 1 and C6 buffs. Some players, of course, can choose to use both. Gorou, Albedo and Chiori make for a very strong team that however lacks a shield to activate the Geo Resonance. Against elemental infused enemies, it's really good however. If you had to choose between the two, I would say that generally Chiori might be the better off-fielder for Itto. A great example is a team of Chiori, Gorou and Zhongli. Itto has not had a rerun since 3.3, and a lot has changed since then. The biggest question is probably, can Furina upgrade his teams? And is Gorou C4 healing enough? Long story short, Gorou is not enough, even rotating to accommodate as much healing as possible. My build on healing set, healing bonus circlet and high defense managed to heal just 1000 per tick, and that is just to the character that is on field. It will basically never manage to keep up with Furina's HP consumption on the whole team. So somewhat decent, but only for 1, maybe 2 rotations. Which is a shame because if we had a proper Geo character similar to the likes of Mika, Charlotte or Jean, playing Furina Itto would be an easy and cheap way for people to experience a good Itto with mild HOC instead of being forced into strong boxing or farming the Husk set, which remains his best in slot. But are there teams that you can play that don't actually go for triple Geo? Certainly, especially with the release of Furina, but unfortunately they will not be as strong as the Gorou counterpart, especially with his C6. At that point, Furina is not that necessary. Fulfilling the 3 Geo requirement is better. Fitting Noelle is hard and we simply don't have any other option. If you were to try teams that don't include the classic triple or quadruple Geo setups, remember to give him as many buffs as possible and ideally at least Geo Resonance with a shield. And that is what is going to happen on my AR52 challenge account, where I only play and build Claymore characters. I'm pulling Itto there obviously, and his best team is probably going to be with Beidou and Dori. You can watch me play that on twitch.tv/7evenplease. Thank you so much for watching this video, sub or like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.